Hello everybody and welcome back to Kharak Cup 8. We're going to be coming in with another replay here from round 1 of the qualifier, and this one's between YoloSwaggins and BlueBoo. Once again, the map's going to be Torin Crater. Of course, you remember that the map is chosen by a random number generator every round, and it stays the same for the entire round. And to be honest, I'm kind of too lazy to compile the list of replays just yet, so I just picked one that I had, which was this one. I was able to find it on the Discord already, but that's why we're going into this one. But yeah, even in round 1 of the qualifier, I think there are a lot of really good games, but Descara had a bye on it, so I think round 2 is going to be a little bit more exciting. But both should be good. Let's go ahead and introduce these players, shall we? This is YoloSwaggins playing in the black here, the black on black kind of, or dark gray anyway. And Yolo is a player who really is quite good, I think, at imitating Garmulator's style. I don't think he's quite top tier yet, but he's really quite good at it. So you'll definitely see, you know, pretty fast carrier power being used pretty effectively. LAVs, railguns, usually not too many AAVs, and he doesn't really go for the upgrades very quickly. It's a very interesting style. Of course, it's, you know, it's the Garmulator style, like I said already just like 4 minutes ago, so we kind of know what to expect from him. And he's gone 4 on the CUs here. LAV fabrication already on the way, so no surprises there either. Blue, meanwhile, used to be a Brood War player. I think we introduced him 2 tournaments ago, just the last time that we saw him play. He's still pretty new to the game, but he learns quite quickly. Of course, you know, he has that kind of RTS background, so I'm really excited to see what he can pull in this tournament here. But I still gotta say, I believe it should be YoloSwaggins taking this game. But you never know, there's still potential for upsets right here. Just has to do with how much, you know, Blue has increased in skill over like the last 2 tournaments. LAV armor already coming out for Yolo. That's a very early timing right there. Maybe because he saw the production cruise with his probe. I didn't quite catch that. It's kind of my bad, but if he saw that already, this would make a lot of sense, wouldn't it? Because he knows that his opponent is trying to push out. I don't know if Blue is planning on going into some kind of an early tech choice. We'll just have to see. But even with like the mobility support in the production cruiser already, you know, that's good. Extra 3 speed on all these guys. Doesn't make too much of a difference, but hey, you never know. Meanwhile, this is something that Yolo loves to do, is that he moves his base runner out into his opponent's second, just right immediately. Sets down a turret over there. That's just going to be super annoying, and Blue is going to have to deal with that at some point. Flying his probe over here as well. He wants to know if there's a tech choice coming out. Of course, that would signify assault ships, that would signify railguns, but neither one, as you can see, having been researched just yet. And with that coalition, you know, superior LAV build speed, Yolo's definitely going to be able to hold off this early game push. And Blue is going to have to fall back with his production cruiser. Question is, what is he going to do off the back of this? Loses one salvager, by the way, to that turret, so that always kind of hurts a little bit. I'm not sure if I like this move particularly against Conf, especially because I feel like they can just, you know, they can just move their carrier over here and then cruise missile it from like really far away, and it's very easy to hit that. But we'll have to see. I mean, Blue's not even trying it just yet, so. And the other reason why I would say I don't really like this too much is also because the Conf carrier like has 40 speed on its own. It's not like the Galzian one that has to like speed up and slowly get over there. Actually, though, it looks like Blue is just going to choose to take it out with his sand skimmers. He'll pay for like, he'll pay with 2 sand skimmers for this turret here, but that's not too bad. Oh, but it looks like he may lose his base runner here. Could use the smoke ability. If he had a blaster on, that would also be pretty nasty, but he has not got that, and he's not going to use the smoke. And his production crews are kind of a bit out in the open here, so Yolo may have found quite a nice prize. I don't know. I don't think he's going to be able to. Well, he's got armored too, doesn't he? Yeah, he does. Oh, and Sandskimmer armor has also been researched. Okay, so I don't think Yolo's going to get anything out of this. If Sandskimmer armor had not been done, I think he could have just stayed here and fought these guys. As it is, he's still going to have a pretty nice time here, because that's kind of a trade that. Oh no, Blue hit the production cruiser, so it set them to guard mode, which meant that they actually kept fighting there. That's pretty annoying. I'd be a bit tilted anyway. But yeah, if Sandskimmer armor was not done, these guys could have just like sat there, killed all of them, and that would have been really bad. But it's a good thing he finished that. Assault pack meanwhile coming down, and I noticed earlier he was going for AAVs. I think that's a little atypical, so it's kind of exciting to see. I think he usually goes for railguns, but I haven't actually seen him play for a while, so that might just be incorrect. Maybe I'm just kind of projecting things. Blue's still kind of trying to be aggressive with his production cruiser here, but I feel like the stage where that's really effective has kind of already passed, you know what I mean? I mean, then again, he does have railgun fabrication already, but he's not making any right now. If he was making railguns, I think, yeah, you can stay out here in production cruiser all you want, but I don't think he can do that right now, really. So yeah, that'd be my suggestion to him right now, is just to make some railguns. Now the probe is going to see the sandstorms here, and that's nice. The LIV is going to come back and just kind of defend against that, and I think we're dealing with fairly equal numbers. Yeah, 7 on 7. LAVs should win that basically every time, even with like no micro. They've also got the boost, so they can punish the sandstormers on the retreat. So blue wants to be careful there. Of course, we know how insane LAVs can be, especially in the early game. Heavy railgun comes out right on top of this AAV, and that's quite unfortunate. Oh, I think he's gonna lose that. Ooh. It's not really the start that you want right there, but the second one should come out pretty soon, and that one will be okay. Not gonna be killed by it, but still, that's a pretty nasty pickup right there. Accidental split going down by blue. Of course, when you just tell them to move like this, sometimes they go in two directions, and there's also AAVs here, so... Oh yeah, there's the boost, so he's gonna punish pretty heavily here. And at this point, blue's heavy railguns are now also very exposed. I think a blast drone here would be a really nice move. It'd at least buy some time, if not, you know, perhaps get a really nasty hit on these LAVs, but it would definitely buy some time. Smoke also would buy some time, but I did notice he built the blast drone. I like that quite a lot. That smoke is a free ability, you know, I think he should be using it a bit more often. AAV's gonna punish some salvagers over here, and that's also really rough. Rail's of course not in the position to defend against that. They are in the position to defend, or like to hold off these AAVs here, so definitely taking a more aggressive stance, and I kinda like that. Blast drone gonna come out in a great position. He should go in immediately. Oh boy! Oh, look at that! That's disgusting. Nicely done, BlueBoo, nicely done. Oof. And that really turns the tide of this battle, because it was looking pretty terrible for blue, I think, because he was going to lose those railguns too because of those LAVs, but if they do not exist, he can't lose them. But it still is not looking particularly good. I mean, he has to pull back here to deal with this threat to his salvagers. And, you know, that means all of his momentum, essentially, from that push is gone. I'd like to actually see him stick around with the Sandscreamers, because what are they going to do against us, right? That unit would be better, you know, somewhere else on the field. Although, perhaps this will be kind of nice for him, because he sort of is, de facto, pushed away this base runner with him, but that was obviously not the idea. Artifact's going to go ahead and extract here, and that's going to be very handy for him, but... yeah, this is not looking good economy-wise. I mean, you can see it quite obviously, you know. 2 full bases right here to just, like, not even 1 full base over here. So, I think at this point, all that YOLO really needs to do is just amass an army that can deal with his opponents, which he should easily be able to do. He's definitely got the eco for it. And he can just kind of, you know, stomp him out to victory, I think. YOLO doesn't really like to go for upgrades, but in this case I think he should, because his carrier could get powered up and then be a powerful force, but that honestly would take so long. I think he could do things better just by going heavy vehicles and then winning the railgun war, but it does look like he's going to go for the power reserves, so that's pretty typical. Definitely not like a failing move, but I do think that, because I mean that's still going to be good for him, obviously, but I think that getting the upgrades for like the railguns and stuff would have just kind of finished it off a little bit faster, so... We should also pay attention to artifacts here. One of them going to get scored by blue, but definitely 2 going to be in the bank? I don't know. In the thing for YOLO. And that's going to be really nice, especially as we know he's planning on utilizing that carrier in the later fights here. I want to be a bit careful with these LAVs. I think he's gotten a little too close for comfort, and yeah, sure enough, he's going to begin losing these. Even without too much focus fire, you know, this is good for the Sandscreamers. They were even attacking down the hill. And I say that, and yet actually they both lost too, so... LAVs, man. Anyway, refinery mode just now on the way for blue, and actually his economy has, you know, the potential to jumpstart pretty quickly. He's already got a 2nd production cruiser, all he needs is salvagers, so... Unless there's some pressure put in by YOLO right here, he could get away with that, and we might see a bit more of an even game than I was expecting. Because you can see the army still just kind of sitting back at home, even though I'm pretty sure YOLO should know, like, what he saw there, that was the entire Sandscreamer force. Might not be so obvious to him, but I mean, he does have probes, you know, running around, or at least a probe. Gonna get shot down over there, but he did see, on 2nd base, he's expanding eco. I should attack right here, but it doesn't look like he wants to. So that's a little bit unfortunate. I think that would have been kind of the better move right here. Meanwhile, power 3 on the way, I think that's worth noting. Once that gets to 5, essentially you can expect to see him push. And probably before that, to be honest, but definitely once it gets to 5, you're going to see that. Because that's when you get the cruise missile, of course, and we all know how powerful that can be. So railgun count's also rather equal at this point. I think blue making assault railguns is probably not the best move here. They are pretty cheap, but I don't know, they don't stand up well in a railgun war, you know, like if you kind of expect that to be coming, well, I guess that's true. Blue doesn't really know that that's on the way, does he? But that's just kind of why I would stay away from making assault railguns blindly this late in the game, because you sort of expect your opponent to go for rails at some point. And if he's got them, you're going to be in some trouble, you know what I mean? So, turret set up on the 3rd, by the way. And not only is that going to give him scouting of the fact, like, he knows when that 3rd base gets set up, but it's also just going to be super annoying, so that's a nice move. Both players going for some anti-air right now, which I think is fine. They can't see each other's bases particularly well, so it's always kind of a mystery what they're going to be going for, so that's not a bad move at all. Sandskimmer's trying to push up on these LAVs here, but that's not going to go very well, is it? And in fact, a bit of a concave getting set up here as well. And those LAVs are really hard to push, you know, they're excellent on the defense because they can kite you for days. In fact, they even are faster than you when they use that boost. And so you add to that, you know, like the speed benefits that they get, and it just becomes almost impossible to push this position here. I don't see that happening anytime soon. There's even a AAV here to punish the blast drones if they try to push up, but it looks like the LAV is just going to target them first. They both go down. One assault railgun getting picked off there. Second one, very low, is going to get found. Railguns just, you know, doing what railguns do, and they're targeting the LAVs right now. But so are YOLOs, so that's okay. But yeah, Sandskimmer Force getting picked apart here now by these LAVs, and I don't know what the upgrades look like, but it's got damage 1, it looks like. Yeah, so he has the upgrade lead even, and that's very good. He's just gonna clean everything up right here. That's really rough for blue once again, and I don't know if he can really hold off against this aggression now, because I think at this point, YOLO is basically ready to just step on the gas and move in there. Well, we'll have to see if he does that, but that would definitely be the right move here. There's nothing really to stop him. Carrier getting power reserve 2 now, but that's not going to be enough. I do think he should stop this artifact, and he's going to go for that first, because obviously if you're about to attack your opponent's carrier, you don't want to let them get more power, right? That just kind of makes sense. But yeah, all he's got to do, I think, is just run the railguns into his opponent's base, and he should basically be able to take the win. Blue going for assault ship fabrication now. Air would be pretty strong, I believe, in this kind of scenario, but you're just never going to get it on time, right? And look how many resources YOLO is stacking, by the way. That's kind of crazy. Probably he wants to upgrade his carrier production next. Because, you know, I mean, if you got this much money, I mean, it clearly means, you know, you can spend a bit more. So upgrading the production is a good move in that scenario. Well, there's no heavies in the area, are there? No heavy railguns at all. And some assault ships getting produced out of this production cruiser, but it's not the right unit for this kind of scenario, so it probably looks like it's about over at this point. And you can see the carrier already starting to take a lot of damage. Blue wants to evacuate this about as fast as he can. You know, put one more power in healing and run, but Con of Carrier is so slow. These things actually outspeed it. And also, when it's getting sundered by railguns like that, damage 2 LAVs can actually do damage to the carrier. I think that's also pretty funny. Oh, I didn't even notice. Yeah, YOLO's on 4 artifacts too, so I think that actually helps me understand a lot more why Blue was doing what he was doing up there in the middle. So, sometimes I lose track of this kind of stuff. But no, he had to push in at some point because he was actually down on artifacts. Like, YOLO was going to win the game off of that eventually. So, that makes a lot more sense actually now that I know that. And you know what, the cruise missile shots from Blue are not terrible here. It's just that can't possibly be enough, you know, to stop what's going on right here. YOLO even moving in with his carrier because YOLO. You know what I mean. And there it goes. So pretty clean win by him, I think. He probably could have pressured more, I think. After he got that really nice early game, because that was a really nice early game, I think he could have pressured a bit more. He was definitely slowed down by the blast drone hit over here, and maybe he got a little scared about that, but you always need to worry that your opponent is going to try to expand onto a third base if you don't pressure them. That's why, like, map control is a really powerful advantage, but it's hard to use. You know, you kind of have to have a mind for it. This turret was kind of a good example of that, but even so, I think he could have done more. Because that way your opponent has to make units, he can't make salvagers. He has to defend against your attack, he can't expand his eco. And you can expand in the meantime just about as quickly. And then suddenly you're on 3 bases when he's on 1. And that kind of happened anyway, but I think that's something that Yola could do just a little better on. But make no mistake, that was a nice clean game by him. I was quite impressed. Well, I'll come to you tomorrow with some more replays, but for now, I've got no energy left in me. Anyway, I'll see you next time.